Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Megan. I've always wanted to start a YouTube channel. I've talked about it for centuries. If anyone knows me, they know that I've always wanted to start one. I always say I'm going to start one and I never do. So this is me starting one. Okay, to get that out of the way, I've been hyperfixating on reading like pretty heavily. So I wanted to do a book haul for this video. I've been super into reading lately. I think I'm hyperfixating. Normally I read like maybe 2 books a month. So I'm gonna take advantage of that and I'm really gonna try to lean into it. So for this video, I wanted to do a book haul of all the things on my TBR this month. I have gotten all of these books within the last week, including my book of the month from last month that I just got in the mail. Lately, I've been watching a lot of Sarah Caroli and Haley Pham videos, so I feel like these are like super Sarah Caroli influenced. So if you watch her, you've probably have already read these books. But who knows if we'll actually read all of these. I have read 3, but who knows if we'll read all of these this month. This is just kind of what I'm feeling. We have the first book. It's If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. Goodreads, it's rated a 3.98, which I feel like is pretty solid. So I had seen Sarah Caroli and Haley Pham and Destiny do like their 5-star book swap. Either Sarah's or Destiny's 5-star read, and they gave it to Haley and she also rated it 5 stars. So this is a YA. I like a lot of things that Haley and Sarah both recommend. Everyone that is on TikTok swears that they sob when they read this book, and that's something that I really feel like leaning into. So it's been on my TBR list for a long time. I figured I'd pull the trigger this month and see what it's all about. Next on the list is Tinkham of the Wicked. I don't even really know what this is about. All I know is that 3 people in the last like 3 days that I've seen either on YouTube or TikTok, they've recommended this book and gave it 5 stars. So I figured, why not read it? I'm gonna be so for real. I've not really dipped my toe in fantasy. I'm scared of fantasy, partly because I have the shortest attention span known to man. If a book is not fast paced and it doesn't get me in the very beginning, odds are I'm gonna DNF it. So I hate that for me. So I'm really nervous going into fantasy because I know that fantasy has a reputation of the first book not being super great. Fantasies also do a lot of world building, and that's like really boring to read. So I'm hoping that I can get into fantasy because I feel like a lot of people that I watch on the internet are really into fantasy, and plus like the books are so, look at this, they're so pretty. They're so pretty. Yeah, so I really hope I like this. I don't have high expectations, but I think that that's good. I think that's good for me. Okay, next up is Shatter Me. So I'm reading the Shatter Me series now. I've already read this. I started reading it online and finished this in like a day. So this book, again, is YA. It's very dystopian, which I like. I feel like The Hunger Games coming on TV, or The Hunger Games coming back on Netflix, like really like made me love dystopian again. Kind of like unleashed that love that I used to have for it, like when it first came out. And I've not read anything dystopian since, I think, The Hunger Games or Divergent. So I was excited, but I was kind of anxious going into the series. This series like really intimidates me because there's like 10 books with the novellas, but I wanted to include it in the haul because I just literally bought it a few days ago. Next up is The Inheritance Game. So I'm so freaking excited to read this book. I read nothing but good reviews. People that I've talked to in real life have sworn that this book is so good. It is a series. There's 3 books total. I have high expectations for this. On Goodreads, it's rated 4.22 stars. And every person that I know who's read this book and everyone online who's read this book seems to give it 5 stars. I've not heard anything negative about this book. I know this is the first of 3 books in a series. It says secret passages, elaborate riddles, billions at stake. I don't know how there could be secret passages in a book. My brain doesn't understand that. But I'm so excited to start this book. I cannot wait. Okay, moving on. We have, wait. Let me grab this book first. So we have the second book of the Shatter Me series, Unravel Me. I also have a confession, I've already read this. And I finished this in like a day and a half, I think. Yeah, it's number 2 in the Shatter Me series. It's dystopian YA. It's a continuation of Juliet and Adam and Warner. And I will say, this is not a review, but the difference of characters between like the first book and the second book with Juliet is astonishing, because in the first book, she was the most irritating character I think I've ever read. She was so like petty and whiny, like she really got on my nerves, and I feel like with this book, I was scared to read the second book because I didn't want to continue to be so irritated, and I want to finish the series just because everyone says it's so good, but I was like, I feel like I hate the main character. But in the second book so far, in the second book, she really pulls it together. And I feel like her character development so far is so good. And by the end of it, I know like by like 200 pages, like I was super invested, and then at the very end, I was really liking what Juliet was putting out. The other book that I got was the third book, which is Ignite Me in the Shatter Me series. When I went into the store, I saw that there was like the box set, and I was like, I'm not gonna buy the box set because I who knows if I'm gonna like it. Like I've not read a YA series in so long, so I didn't buy the box set, and I've now bought the third book, and I really wish I just bought the box set because I probably could have saved money. So there's that. So people have said that, according to the internet, people as in the internet, have said that these 2 are the best books. So I'm really excited to read this third book. I feel like I'm really hooked into the story now, and I don't know how it's gonna play out. So I'm really excited to read this. Okay, and then totally in a completely different direction, it's Everything I Know About Love. So a few people have recommended me this book. It's also, I guess, a show on Peacock. I've not watched the show, but it's basically a memoir about relationships in your 20s, friendships and romantic relationships. I feel like I'm at a point where I should read this in my life. It might help me. It's been on my TBR for a long time, but I feel like I have to be in a certain mood to read a memoir, and I've not been in the mood for this lately, but I still got it anyways because Amazon does free shipping, like free same-day shipping if you spend so much, and that's what this was. And then, so The Housemaid, this book, I read this last night. I read this in one sitting, start to finish. Well, okay, not one sitting. I read 30 pages at work on my phone, and then I immediately went on Amazon, bought the book, and I finished it last night in like 2 hours. I highly recommend it. I give this 5 stars. It's quick paced, it's a quick read. There's no BS. She completely just like dives into the story. It is so good. It's like a psychological thriller, based on like a murder, and I cannot say enough good things about this book. I love me some fast-paced books, especially in thrillers, but in general, like my brain cannot focus. So if a story is moving at such a quick pace, I can sit there and I can read it and not feel like I need to go on my phone, which is huge. So, and this is exactly what this book was. And if you've not read this book, I know it's like going around like on social media right now, but if you've not read this book, I highly, 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 highly recommend this book. It is so freaking good. And I need to read the second book. I will probably purchase within the next few days the second book. It is so good. And then lastly, my book of the month from last month is The Guest List. And this is about, I think it's about a murder at a wedding or something in Ireland. I don't know. It says, an exclusive wedding on a remote Irish island. The bride, the plus one, the best man, the wedding planner, the bridesmaid, all have a secret, all have a motive, but only one is a murderer. So I've heard really good things about this book. I am hoping that I can polish this off this month. And so I'm really excited about this one. It's from Book of the Month from last year, but last month. And it was actually a Book of the Year finalist for 2020. So yeah, we'll see what that's about. We've made it this far. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for my end of the month wrap up. So thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you come back. If you have any books that you really recommend that are kind of on the same wavelength, please comment them. I'm so open to suggestions. And I will see you somewhere else on the internet. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.